the Kings and Luke Walton, like they're just riding Fox and they're thriving. Since then, Fox is averaging 29 points with 8 assists.
But really quick, before I begin, smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. It seriously makes a huge difference in my videos. That way, YouTube knows to recommend this video to a brand new audience who can also smash the like button. So thank you so much for doing that, and let's begin.
So with NBA All-Star voting happening now, Kyle, we wanted to discuss some potential first-time All-Stars. And let's start off with DeAaron Fox of the Sacramento Kings. They had a really entertaining game last night against the Philadelphia 76ers, which they lost. But, Fox right now is only 23 years old, and he's averaging 23 points with 7 assists. But I don't feel like the season averages really capture what we've seen lately. Over 13 games to start the year, Fox was averaging 19 points and 5 assists on just 15 shots per game, which is pretty close to his career averages. But then something changed when he dropped 43 points against the Pelicans 3 weeks ago. Because ever since that game, the Kings and Luke Walton, like they're just riding Fox and they're thriving. Since then, Fox is averaging 29 points with 8 assists on 22 shots per game with a 33% usage. So Sac lost to the Sixers last night, but Fox still had a big game. Still feels like he's becoming a guy who's taking a leap right now. Whether he'll be an All-Star or not, I'm not sure, but he does feel like this is the year where we're seeing a leap from Fox.
Yeah, definitely. It's funny that I feel like you and I specifically have been very up and down on Fox at times.
Yeah, we have, including when we talked about Halliburton a couple of weeks back.
Yes. I think the ultimate question for him, it seems like he just shows more and more. I hear a lot of people who talk about a lot of ex-coaches and people like that comment a lot about how different things just seem to surface and bubble out of his game as we go along. And Fox is a really bright, I want to call him a kid. He's just a bright guy, really, really similar to Mitchell, a guy who's really, really intense about his improvement. The real question, the Sixers are kind of a tough matchup for them in terms of slowing it down. I know the Kings got a lot of criticism for a while based on the fact that they weren't playing fast, which is kind of the way that they're set up to play right now. And Fox, like we've talked about, his rim pressure creates so many different things. And then when you pair that, I was going to kind of segue into what kind of flexibility kind of going forward is. That's going to be whether or not he's an all-star. He could be an all-star and still have some of the same kind of questions once the sort of flow, the game-to-game flow shifts from regular season. And kind of what I meant by that when I was talking earlier about is when you see a guy like Fox on a nightly basis, you're not going to totally be as prepared for him as you would if you saw him several nights in a row. So Fox is always going to have, and there are a lot of guys who have one really sharp thing that they're good at, that they can punish teams on a nightly basis like that. Like Giannis is like that, Harden's like that, Luka's like that. If you're not totally ready to play that style, I guess what I'm curious about is, do you think that with whatever adjustments they've made with the addition of Halliburton, however their scheme is switched around, do you think that they're going to have the flexibility to sort of grow into that next phase?
It's possible. I mean, this sort of touches on our previous conversation about Halliburton and his ability to just naturally play with and without the ball and excel in both of those situations. And with DeAaron Fox, the question is still going to be the same. What level can he reach as a shooter in this season? Just for what it's worth, just to put the numbers out there, he's shooting 36% on 5.2 threes per game. That's up from 33% on 2-point attempts over his first 3 seasons. But he's been a guy that has always, including when he was at Kentucky, always looked like a fluid shooter. His shot has always looked fine, but the numbers have always varied greatly, have always been inconsistent. He's always been a low free throw shooter, shooting a nice 69% this year, close to a 71% career average.
Very nice.
With DeAaron Fox, I still do have questions about what level his jumper reaches, but I will say this, Kyle. It's hard not to watch him this season and then compare the way he looks now to past seasons when it comes to off the dribble. The way he is taking step back jumpers with fluidity and suddenness, there's a quickness to his movements where in the past it was as if he's still learning it. It feels like he gets it now when it comes to shooting off the dribble. So I'm very, very encouraged with what we see from him.